Okay, Doc, we have a few questions here. Start off with John has a question, which is it possible to get a Nexus letter connecting jet fuel exposure to my Meniere's CAPD?
Probably COPD, yeah.
Okay.
Anxiety,
depression, alcoholism, and high blood pressure?
Yeah, jet fuel. Okay, this is June 6, 2023. Let me put on my Vietnam veterans hat for this answer. Nexus letter is a causation report for federal work for VA disability. VA disability and federal workers' comp are very, 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 very fair laws. Just no one knows it, no one follows them. Jet fuel. If you're washing off your lawnmower and you have a spark plug and you clean it off with some gasoline, you'll get tingling in your fingers. What you've done, you've denatured some of the fat off those nerves. So you can imagine if you're sniffing jet fuel or any hydrocarbon, like glue in teenagers or something like that, you're going to have brain damage. And that can also interfere with the nerve that goes to the ear and contribute to Meniere's disease. I haven't looked it up, but I'll bet there's case law and I bet there's medical literature showing that exposures does it. But even if it doesn't, just that knowledge of what hydrocarbons do to the nervous system, yes. Certainly Meniere's disease, maybe anxiety, maybe depression, maybe alcoholism, maybe high pressure, I'm not sure. But there may have been other things in the service that did. Okay? Okay?
The next question, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, it's Abre. Has a question. What's the best way to go about it if you're wanting to file presumptive conditions for Gulf War illness per the PACT Act?
Google PACT Act, Gulf War, look up the conditions, and if you've got any of them, you could file a claim with any medical literature you have with the VA. The best way to do it is to go through a veteran service officer or go to the VA itself. They're free. Each state has a veterans commission that's free. A veteran service officer has been trained by the VA how to do all the stuff electronically, because you don't want to go through this federal administrative stuff by yourself. But anyway, it's free, and they'll help you. And so go talk to them, and then if they get turned down, you could come to Ellis Clinic or somebody like us that writes that your exposures and gives you a Nexus letter, causation letter.
Okay, and the next one, Kimberly says, hi, I've been out of work since June 2022. I have an accepted case, but my doctor here in Charlotte has not put me at MMI yet. Is that something that you could do along with a rating? I can bring my documentation.
Sure. Now, you go to ellisclinic.com. This, I assume, is federal workers' comp. And you look for appointment for federal workers' comp. Okay, and then you can check schedule ward box, which is whether you're at MMI or not. You can say, I don't know, tell me what to do, which is the best thing to do. And we'll look at your records, give you a call, and walk you through it, tell you what to do. If you've been out of work since June of 2022, and it may be due to your injury, you should be on temporary total disability, which is 75% of your pay tax-free until you die. And you don't want to schedule ward because that cuts that off. Okay. But be careful, if you've been out of work since June of 2022, it's already June of 2023, should you be on FERS medical disability retirement. That has to be done within 1 year of the last day you were an employee. So if you're getting close, this is June 6th, so if it's a FERS report you need, we may need to do a telemedicine stat FERS report to get it sent in for the statute of limitations. Okay.
Okay, our next one is from Armando.
Now, MMI, but let's talk about max medical improvement. I love this case. A guy does surgery does 5 knee surgeries under federal workers' comp, so the guy didn't enter health insurance, didn't pay copay. Appreciate the doctor doing that, because it's hard to find a doctor doing it under federal workers' comp. Anyway, when will I be at maximum medical improvement? Well, never. You always need injections and physical therapy. Well, under FECA, the Federal Employment Compensation Act, OWCP, Office of Workers' Compensation Procedures, you're at MMI. You can have a scheduled ward. You're still going to need the treatment, but it's ongoing maintenance treatment, and so you can get a scheduled ward. Now, if you're getting ready for surgery next month, you're not at maximum medical improvement. Or if you had carpal tunnel, any nerve, you have to wait a year before you can be MMI. But MMI is just, you can have a scheduled ward. Okay?
Armando says, I'm a 100% disabled vet and a FERS employee. I am applying for medical retirement. If I get my doctor's supporting letters, can you help me file my paperwork correctly?
Yeah, I assume you're talking about FERS medical disability. Sure, we do that all the time. That's bread and butter. You go to ellisclinic.com, look up a FERS appointment thing, fill it out, send some records. We'll get you done. Now, be careful. You've got to file for FERS. It's got to be in their personnel by 365 days, the last day of your federal employee. Come on in. Lori, come on here and introduce yourself. This Lori does all the referrals, and she's our angel. And you've got a question.
Yes, I do.
They're from
Some
Benny.
styles.
Okay. Can we still have?
Can we still have surgery on the left hip and use our private insurance? The claim is open, but we don't have the accepted condition of the left hip.
Okay.
They want to know if they can use the private
Sure.
insurance until it gets
And it's
open.
very good. Go ahead and do it. So let's say you have carpal tunnel and you go ahead and get surgery under your health insurance. Well, it's going to be really easy to say you have carpal tunnel and you've had surgery for it. I mean, you talk about objective evidence. So you get surgery for that, and then retroactively go back. We can show how is she work for the post office?
It's him.
Okay, no, it's McAllister. Okay,
yes.
yeah, no.
He was
That's
an
main man.
expert.
That's I'll get your hip and back over there. That's easy.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do it. Don't wait. And then once you get your claim accepted, you get your copay back.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Lori.
you're very welcome.
So let me make me a copy of that in white.
Okay.
Just make me a white one.
Sure.
Let me have
I need
it.
a copy of that question too.
Sure. Awesome.
Oh, I'm keeping it for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's for you.
Okay.
Okay, now we have one.
So is this a copy?
Yeah, that's the address.
Oh, this is
and
a
stuff.
copy.
And yes.
Okay, no, this is it. That's all we need. Okay.
Perfect.
You get the chart back. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
She saved somebody's life. He didn't show up for a couple of visits, and she called the police for a wellness check. He had a bullet hole in his head, laying there in a pool of blood, about ready to die. She saved his life.
Incredible.
Also, I have somebody that used to live in Amarillo, and there's no one in Texas that takes federal workers' comp, and he's single, and she'd, pick him up, take him to the hospital, get a surgery, take him back to the hotel or whatever, and, you're home, we'll take care of you. Now, I'm an asshole, but my staff are just wonderful people. Okay, so this is what?
Ira.
Ira.
I am currently disabled and rated at 80%. 70% for PTSD and 10% physical. Back and hip, right leg. Trying for 100%. And back pay. Having issues with VA. I need a Lexus letter. I have my medical records.
Well, I've never heard of anybody having issues with the VA. Oh, God, don't get me started. Okay, you got 70% PTSD. You got 10% physical. I mean, a minimal back is 10, a minimal hip is 10, a minimal leg is 10. For instance, if you have a meniscus injury in your leg, that's 10%. If you have a ligament strain, if it's slight, it's 10. If it's moderate, it's that. If it's severe, it's 30, 10, 20, 30. This is easy stuff. So you're getting screwed. All right, now, and you've got a back. Do you have sleep apnea? That's 50%. All right. And then the other thing is maybe you're individually unemployable. I'm going to put on my veteran's hat. You can be 40% VA disability and not able to work due to that 40%, and you get individual unemployability, which is a big thing. And you could take your 70 and add another 20 and 30 stuff, and it still may be under 100 with the little chart they use. But if you got a 50, that'll probably flip you over the side.
Some of that fuzzy government
Yeah.
logic.
And so you go to Ellis Clinic, a VA appointment, send it in. We'll look at it and we'll walk you through it. Okay, Gary.
James says that he was injured in 2017 at the United States Postal Service. Elbow fracture and a lot of arm strains. Had surgery in 2018 along with rehab. My doctor and I had mentioned after the surgery about some numbness in my fingers. He sent me for nerve study and found out I had ulnar nerve issue. He wrote it off saying that it must have not been caused by the injury or you would have mentioned it before. I ended up retiring in 2019. I'd like to get a scheduled award for my injury, but wouldn't know how to address what the doctor stated about my arm. I wasn't treated fairly by my treating doctor. it was okay up until he said nerve issue wasn't related to injury. What could be done? It's probably too late for another opinion. What are your thoughts? Could you help with something like this?
It's never too late for another opinion. Now, in federal workers' comp, VA disability, Social Security, AFLAC, car wrecks, pretend like I've got a white coat on, you have to have a doctor's medical opinion. Over 50% of litigation requires a doctor's medical opinion. I'm the only professor of legal medicine I know of. All we learned in medical school about legal medicine was that malpractice prevention and that lawyers don't go to heaven, which is the beginning of my course. Okay, no problem. First of all, I was in a video deposition once. I had the two attorneys here, the video behind this, and they're talking, and the attorney for the insurance company said, well, isn't the treating doctor in a better position to rate this person's impairment? I said, no. And he said, why? You never ask an expert witness an open-ended question. I can talk for 30 minutes. This happens all the time in court. I'll start answering questions, the judge, the attorney will interrupt, and I said, Your Honor, he asked for my opinion, and I'm trying to give it, and he's interrupting. And the judge always says, he asked for it. You get to answer it. The jury, the judge laughed. So lawyers learn that little trick. Okay. Now, he said, why? Well, first of all, he's only got $1 million malpractice insurance, and you got to have him rate a surgery. If I do surgery on you, you have 0% impairment. Now, your nerve doesn't matter whether it was caused by the injury or caused by the surgery, and that doesn't mean it's malpractice. But it's covered. Or let's say you have an elbow surgery, and 10 years from now, you've been retired for 10 years, and the nerve starts bothering you on one arm, not both. Well, that's due to that original injury, because if it aggravates the slightest amount, it's 100% covered if the doctor knows the FECA law, the OWCP law, which no one seems to know. Okay, so your doctor's opinion, they just use that to deny it. We'll get that covered. We'll get that done. And if they don't, we do an oral hearing. Because once you get out of the stupidity level, in federal workers' comp, the hearing officers are very intelligent people. The Employee Compensation Appeal Board are very honest judges. They call it, there's no politics, they just call it. They know the law is made for the employee. The employee gets the benefit of a doubt. It's not an even battle. Okay, it's not like in a car wreck, both sides are equal. Okay, same way VA. The judges at the Board of Veterans Appeals are lawyers. They know the law is very fair. They'll always either say you were wrong or remand it, do it right. Okay? So sometimes if you've been denied, like in VA, you don't go back to the same, depends on what the state is, the same fools that turned you down. You go straight to Washington, D.C. So, well, it's going to take a year. That's better than going back 3 or 4 times in 5 years, the same people. Okay, so that's easy stuff. Now, you're 16 years, hit the door jamb on your elbow, and you don't hit the funny bone. That little teeny tap, if you hit the ulnar nerve right here, these 2 fingers tingle. Obviously, that's what happened to you. Now, that could have been done by the original injury. Could have been done when you do the surgery. Surgery causes scarring and contraction. It doesn't take a lot of pressure on the nerve to give it fits. All right? So, obviously, that ulnar nerve, it's called cubital tunnel syndrome, it's covered. And you get a scheduled award for that, and you get a scheduled award for your elbow. So don't give up. And don't trust white coats. And don't trust lawyers. And don't trust supervisors. People will tell you stuff just to get you off the phone. Do not trust anybody unless you really know the law than any law. And then lawyers, oh, God help us. You know, they just get arrogant and think they know everything.
All right, Doc, that's all we have
Okay,
today.
that's what we got for today. Thanks for sending in your questions.